Hi everybody, welcome to this video tutorial. Today we're going to look at the concept of referential integrity in relational database design. We've managed to normalize our database into 4 separate entities, and we've also identified relationships between entities in the database. So what exactly do we mean by referential integrity? Well, let's jump into XAMPP and see if we can look at a practical example. Before I get started with that, by the way, today I clicked on my database link here, and I found something called a data dictionary, which is very useful. It summarizes for each of the entities in my database, the fields in the entity, the associated data types of the entity, and what the primary key is of the entity. And remember, for a normalized database, every entity will require a primary key. Now, I have been messing around a lot with this database during this project, so I am just going to double check that all of my entities have the right primary key. That looks good. Roots, root ID, and trips has a composite key, which is the primary key. Okay, everything looks good. Now let's go into trips. And we know that every trip will have a bus number, and bus number is a foreign key in the trips table. And every value in this foreign key field should be represented in the associated primary key field of the buses table. This is the primary key field. So this primary key field is related to this foreign key field. Okay? Now what we want to make sure is that every foreign key value has an associated value in the primary key field in the buses table. So let's just memorize these values. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 20. Now let's go into buses. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 20. Yes, our referential integrity looks good. Every foreign key value in, I'm going to call this the child table. Every foreign key value has an associated value in the parent table. We can think of this as the parent table with the primary key. Now let's go back to trips and just continue our thought on this idea of referential integrity. Will it be possible then to create a trip which has a bus number of 200? Now 200 isn't in this parent table, so it shouldn't be possible. Let's try it. Let's go into trips and let's insert into trips the following values. We'll say bus number 200, route ID is 1, driver ID is 6, and the date is March the 7th, 2025. Let's go. Oh, let's go and browse for it. Is it there? Yes, it's there. Okay, now that's a problem because this value is not available in the buses table. Our referential integrity is compromised. Now let's kind of try and understand why that's a problem. Let's select everything from trips. We're going to do an inner join on the buses table on trips.busnum, which is our foreign key field, is the same as buses.busnum, which is our primary key field. That's really the relationship which is creating the join. Okay. Oh, and let's do a where clause. Where trips.busnum is 200, because we know there is a trip that has a bus num of 200. Okay. So we should get one record. But when we run the query, we don't get any records. Okay. Because if we're looking for bus num 200, buses.busnum is 200 doesn't exist. So this query doesn't produce any results. That's a huge problem. It's misleading because trips does have a trip with a bus number of 200. That shouldn't be allowed to happen. Okay, our referential integrity of our database is compromised because of this. Okay, so just for now, I'm going to delete that record. Equally, if I have a trip that uses a bus, let's say bus number 1, what happens if I delete bus number 1 from the buses table? Should I be allowed to delete that? If I do delete it, what will happen? Well, let's find out. I'm going to delete it. Bus number 1 no longer exists, but it's still apparently available to run 2 trips. Well, that shouldn't be possible. The referential integrity of our database is compromised. Okay? What we really want to happen is if we try to delete a bus from the primary key table, the primary key field here, and that bus is being used in a trip, there it is, we shouldn't allow that deletion to happen, right? We should restrict that opportunity, okay? Or, of course, if we really want to delete bus number 2, and we know we want to delete bus number 2 from this primary key field, then we are going to have to delete all trips associated with bus number 2. They will also have to be deleted. And by enforcing that, we can maintain the referential integrity of our database. So very quickly, in the buses table, I'm just going to insert bus number 1 again. I don't know why I want to do that, but I have an impulse to do it, so I'm going to do it. Insert into the buses table these values: bus number 1, driver number 1, this is buses, isn't it? So it's an aircon, and it's an express. Okay, that's the bus data. So let's just do that. Let's check that it worked. Yes, we've got bus number 1 back. Now, how can we enforce referential integrity? Well, let's go to the table where all of our foreign keys exist. They're in the trips table. Bus number is a foreign key, route ID is a foreign key, and driver ID is a foreign key as well. But at the moment, let's just focus on the bus num problem. Now, I've selected the table with my foreign keys in it. I'm going to go to Structure and Relation View. What I'm going to do is I'm going to design a constraint. A constraint is kind of like a rule that will either allow something to happen or maybe it won't allow something to happen when we try to make it happen. Okay? Apparently, we have to give our constraint a name. I'm not sure that we have to do this. I've looked at examples on the internet, and let's just do, it doesn't matter what you call it. I'm going to call it foreign key bus num. Okay, this is a constraint on the bus num field. Now, in the trips table, this is where we are at the moment. We're interested in the bus num column or field, and the relationship is with the buses table and the bus num field there, which is a primary key. So this is the relationship that we're interested in. And what the restriction that I want to, or the constraint that I want to manage, I'm going to call a restriction when we try to delete a bus num from the primary key table. I'm going to restrict that opportunity. I'm not going to allow it to happen. Because if I allow it to happen, as we've just seen, it will impact the referential integrity of my database. Okay, weakens the database. So let's save this constraint. And now let's go back to, let's just go to trips. We've got bus number 1 here. Let's go to buses and let's try to delete bus number 1. Yes, my constraint is stopping that from happening. It's no longer allowed to happen. Okay. We're going to restrict the opportunity to delete any bus which is involved in a trip. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 20. We can't delete those buses. Could I delete bus number 14? Bus number 14 isn't involved in any trips. There's no relationship between bus number 14 and the trips table. So let's try and delete bus number 14. Should be possible. Hey, that's possible. Okay. Equally, let's not get confused about this, guys. In our trips table, we should be able to delete any trip. A trip is just a trip. This trip is no longer going to happen. Just because I'm deleting the trip doesn't mean I'm deleting the bus number. And I'm not deleting the route ID or the driver ID. Those are still going to exist in those tables. So if we try and delete this trip here, it should be allowed. Yes, it's deleted. Okay. Now, before we finish the video on referential integrity, we're just going to look at one other constraint that we could design for the deletion of a bus. Let's say that when we delete a bus, we also want to delete a trip. Any trip associated with that bus will also be deleted. Okay, so let's go back to our table with all the foreign keys in it. Let's go to Structure, Relation View. I'm just going to delete this one that I already designed. Just to show you how to delete it, just click Drop and it will disappear. And the next time we go in, we're starting again. That's fine. So let's redesign it. I'm going to call it again FK busnum. The column in the trips table, the foreign key column is busnum. And in the primary key table is busnum. And this time, when we do a delete, the constraint is going to be a cascade. Okay, we're going to do a cascade delete. Now let's see what that means if we save. Let's go to trips and just make sure we have a busnum with trips involving busnum 1. Yes, we've got 2 trips involving busnum 1. Let's go to buses. Sorry, bus number 1. You're too old. We need to get rid of you. Goodbye. Bus number 1 is gone. Yep, that was allowed. No problem. Let's go to trips. Yes, there's no longer a bus number 1 trip happening. That cascade delete constraint was activated. And our referential integrity of our database remains intact.